Hi, welcome to the 12th episode of the New England Gal Knits podcast. I am Janet and I live in Massachusetts with my husband, our two boys, our cat, and our dog. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram at the New England Gal. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. So today is February 27th and I cannot get over that February is basically done. It went by really quickly. I was sick for 2 weeks, so I feel like I didn't get as much accomplished as I had wanted to, but I still did quite a bit of knitting, and I do have a finished object that was quite large. So as you can see, I finished my exploration station, and this is a pattern by Stephen West, which I'm sure everybody has heard of this pattern or have already knit this pattern. I'm just late to the bandwagon on this, but I absolutely love the way this came out. Now, I just bound off last night and weaved in the ends this morning, so it has not been blocked. It is already my wingspan, and I have a feeling it is just going to bloom and grow once I have it blocked. I'm probably gonna block it tomorrow because I really want to wear it to work today. So I'll block this out tomorrow, and this will all block out nicely. It is kind of bunching together here with the laced chevron pattern at the bottom, but I absolutely adore the way this came out. It was so much fun. It was all the different patterns and techniques. It made it seem like it went by very quickly. It was, once you were done with the short rows, you went into a brioche section, and then you went into a slip pattern, and then a stripe, and it kept things moving. It kept it interesting, and I never got bored with the pattern. So I have to say, last November, I knit the Half Moon Oracle Shawl by Kristen Lear of Wool and Vine Yarns. I had fallen out of love with shawl knitting. I just didn't enjoy it anymore, and I was on a kick with sweaters, and that pattern, the Half Moon Oracle Shawl, really brought me back into loving it. The different sections and techniques, and once you were like, okay, I think I'm done with brioche now, it was perfect timing because it was on to the next section. So I absolutely loved knitting this. I really enjoyed it. I would knit another one in a heartbeat. I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately though, I have too many things in my queue right now to even dare thinking about casting on another one of these, but absolutely loved it. So this is knit out of, this is actually Wool and Vine Yarns in her I'm No Bird on her Blitz base, and it's a gorgeous gold stellina, and I keep trying with the lighting to have the stellina get picked up, and I'm not doing a great job, but it is absolutely stunning. And I have 67 ounces of this left, so this is enough for a pair of socks for me. But then I'm also thinking, I absolutely love this so much, I'd love to put it in another shawl. I just don't know what pattern yet. I did cake up, this is Wool and Vine again in her Moon Custard colorway, and I had caked this up to put this in my Sunset Highway pullover. However, I realized I didn't go with the other colors I had chosen. So I'm thinking these look really nice together, so I'm wondering if I can find a 2 or a 3 color shawl that I could knit these into. And any suggestions, please put them down below. And then my other colors that I had used. So this is the Saki yarn by Plymouth Yarn, and it's a mohair merino nylon blend in their brown color. See, even because there's quite a bit of this left too, that would make a pretty shawl. Although I don't wear a whole lot of brown, so. But that was my second color, and then for my third and fourth color, I used, this is Jagger Spun, in their heathered base, and the top one is slate and the bottom one is wisteria. So I really enjoyed knitting with these yarns. I did find the Jagger Spun one. It is a 2-ply, and I did find it rather splitty, especially with the slip pattern. I seem to have issues with splitting the yarn. But I do love the way it came out and the way it feels, so I'm absolutely adore this and extremely happy with this. So that is it for my finished objects. So for my works in progress, I'll start off with my socks. So I'll start off with, this is a just a bag from a local yarn store in Northborough. And these are housing my vanilla socks that I am knitting on. And they're all tangled up. So here is the first sock, and I am doing Susan B. Anderson's Afterthought Heel, the Smooth Operator pattern on this. I did it for a pair of socks, the last pair of socks I did, and I loved it, and the fit is perfect. So here's the first one, and here is the second one. I'm about even on these. So, and here is the cake of yarn, and this is out of Black Bunny fiber, and this is in her Swamp Thing color, and here's her tag, and it's her 75/25 base. So I have decided on these. I am going to make these knee-high because I want to get up to the green, and I'm not going to make it up to the green because normally what I'll do is I'll knit the leg until basically I reach the toe, and then I do the cuff. But I realize I will not reach the green by the time I get to that point, and I really want the green in these socks. So I am going to do knee-high socks, and I need to get on Ravelry and take a look for a pattern that, a toe-up pattern that kind of maps out the increases to go over the calf. So I had mentioned in my last podcast that Tommy from the Squirrel Pie Productions podcast had done some, and I looked up on her page, and unfortunately she did decreases down the leg, so I'm not really able to kind of base my socks off of hers. So my job today will be going on to Ravelry and trying to find a knee-high pair of socks toe up so I can kind of gauge the increases on it. But I am loving the colors on these and the way they're fading. Absolutely beautiful. So, and these are my bus stop knitting socks. My bus stop knitting, and then actually I did get quite a bit done. I think I got a good 2 or 3 inches. On Saturday we went to see the Black Panther, which was fabulous. It was great, but I was able to get about 2.5 inches done on one of these socks in the theater. So this is my throw it in my handbag and take it everywhere knitting. And then I am working on a second pair of socks, and these are patterned, and this is by Jacqueline Salem of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, and this is her Irving socks. So here's a picture. So, and these are being housed in my Fringe Supply Company plaid bag. So here is what I have so far. So this is the first sock, and I have to say this is extremely intuitive. I love this pattern, so I have it memorized. I don't even have to refer to the chart anymore, which is fabulous. So I can take these, and I have been taking them with me to work on in between things. I absolutely love it. So it's a lace pattern that's flanked by 2 cables, and then there's some textured pattern on the back. I do have to say, as much as I love the pattern, it calls for 1x1 ribbing. I really hate 1x1 ribbing. It seemed to take so long to get through 20 rows of ribbing. It was almost 2 days. I don't know what it is, but it just took forever to get through the cuff on these, and I'm kind of dreading the cuff on the other one. But other than the cuff, the pattern itself is fabulous, and I absolutely love it. I am knitting this with, this is Knit Picks Felici. It was the bare base. I had dyed this up myself, and this is gold with blue and red specks. So I had actually dyed up 2 skeins. One of the skeins went into my Zweig sweater in the lace pattern in the Zweig, and then I had this second one left over, so I've decided to knit up these. These are being knit on my ChiaoGoo and 9-inch circular needles, and that's what I'm knitting the other pair on. Those are my go-to needles for socks. I love 9-inch circular needles, and I'm a flicker, so there's not much movement with my right hand, so I don't find knitting on 9-inch circulars difficult. I really enjoy it, and I find it's the fastest way for me to knit socks, and it's nice rather than playing around with the magic loop and tugging and pulling on cords. So that is my second work in progress, and I am really, really enjoying those. And then for my final work in progress, I am working on the Klondike sweater by Mary Ann Benedetto, and this is out of Interweave Knits Winter 2018 issue. So I think last podcast I had gotten through the ribbing. I had started this when I was sick and not feeling well, and I have to say I haven't gotten much further along. To be honest with you, my focus had been on the exploration station, and especially towards the end of the exploration station with 400 stitches on the needle, it took up a lot of time. That's the one thing I think about shawls I find very tedious, is that the last few rows where it's 400 stitches and it's taking, you know, 30 to 45 minutes to get through a row. Although you throw on a podcast and you just kind of knit away. So anyways, I don't have that much done, but I figured I'd show it. And then I forgot to mention, it's being housed in my Tanny Casey bag, which again I love. I bought one of her totes and I use that as a pocketbook, and I just love her bags. I'd love to pick up another one. So, and this is being knit out of Lopi, and I'm not going to try and pronounce this, and this is the Ash Heather color. So here's the ball. I didn't cake this up. I caked up my first ball, and I think I'll cake up the rest because this flops around a lot. So I'm working on the back section, and I have gotten through 1 cable repeat, and I am just started the 2nd cable repeat. And I do love this. And again, this is very intuitive as well, where I don't have to look at the charts all that often, which is great because it's good sitting on the couch and knitting while watching TV. So I do, and I love cables. I absolutely love cables. So this is, and it's going to be a seamed sweater, which will be my first seamed sweater I've ever done. So I'm a little bit nervous about the mattress stitching at the end, but we'll see how it goes. And it didn't take me very long to get where I am, so I have a feeling I can get the front and back of this done within the next 2 weeks and then work on the sleeves. So, but I'm really, really enjoying this knit as well, and I can't wait for the final product. It just looks so soft and cozy and squishy and warm. Although the way this winter and this February's been, where it's been averaging 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside, I don't think I need soft and squishy and big sweaters right now. It's been quite warm for February, so but for next winter, I'll definitely have it done for the fall, and for next winter, probably won't need it. Even looking in the next 2 weeks, it's supposed to be mid-40s, where we're normally in the 20s. So But I will have it done for next winter and it'll be nice and cozy then. So that is it for my works in progress. So I do have some stash enhancements this week. I did go a little crazy on the striped sock yarn. I don't know what it was, but I really enjoy knitting striped socks, and I just went a little crazy because honestly, I don't have a whole lot of stash, especially striped socks. I think because this striped yarn, it can be so expensive for indie dyed striped yarn that I don't have a whole lot. So I did go a little bit crazy. So I did decide to order yarn from halfway around the world. So I did pick up some Stray Cat yarn, and these are beautiful. So this is her Puddle a Duck color, and I have a feeling the camera's blowing it out, but it's the palest peachy pink with blue and cream. And just absolutely beautiful, and light pastel-y, nice spring colors, and I'm kind of in the spring mood now. I think the weather being as warm as it is put me kind of in that mindset. And then the other one I got from her was Maud, and this is pretty. It's a nice deep gold with mauve and cream, and this is beautiful. So I have to say, so I pulled these out because I had ordered them weeks ago. It took a little while. It didn't take, honestly, as long as I thought it would to get from New Zealand to Massachusetts. It's halfway around the world, but it actually came pretty quickly. It was something, though, that the post office required a signature, and by complete coincidence, my mother-in-law had stopped in to drop something off when they got delivered, so she was able to sign for it, which was a perfect timing. But anyway, so I got home and I was looking at these and I'm like, these are so soft and so squishy. I'm like, her 75-25, you know, it feels like there's cashmere in it. I had forgotten, I had ordered her deluxe base, which is an 80-10-10, so there is cashmere in it, which explains why it is so soft and cozy. So I did, she does have the options where you can purchase them in the ball or the skein, but where I have been skeining my yarn into two equal balls, I figured why have her hand wind a ball for me if I'm just going to rewind it into two skeins. So that's why I picked up the skeins instead. And then on the same day, I saw this on Instagram because, you know, like you do, you see something on Instagram and you automatically jump right over to Etsy and order it. So this is Sweet Sparrow Yarns, and this is her Hedwig color, and this is so beautiful. Her colors are so soft and pretty. I'm telling you, I was in the pastel mood that day between the Puddle Duck and this one. This one only came in a ball, but I'll knit these one at a time. I love knitting out of the balls, but absolutely love this. And she started podcasting again, which I'm so excited because I love her podcast. She seems so sweet and soft-spoken, and it's so relaxing watching her podcast. And also, I love the projects that she chooses to knit. So I purchased all those at the same time, and then I think it was last Saturday, I randomly went onto Etsy and I was looking at my favorite shops and couldn't get over, because this shop never seems to have a yarn in stock. I must have just hit their update at the right time. So this is Coloring Book Yarns, and this is her 80-20 base, and it's the Autumn Mint color. And this is beautiful. It has grays and 2 tones of oranges and black, and then the most beautiful mint. And then I love 80/20 is my favorite yarn, sock yarn, to knit socks with. So anyways, because you can barely ever find her yarn actually in stock, as soon as I saw it, I quickly purchased it and snatched that up. So that is actually it for, that's it. I say that's it like that's nothing. That's quite a bit, but that's my new striped sock yarn stash. So, and then the other thing that I had purchased that I wanted to share, and I don't know if any of you guys are sewers out there, but I could kind of use some guidance. So I had picked up Sewaholics pattern, and this is the Hollyburn skirt that I was going to sew it up for myself on my birthday. I had taken my birthday off, and I went to Joann Fabrics to pick up material, and honestly, the one by me, they had a lot of polyesters, which I didn't really want, and then all of their cotton seemed to be quilting cotton, which again, I didn't really want. I'm looking more for a chambray. So I've been looking on fabric.com. I was also surprised at how expensive Joann Fabrics was compared to fabric.com. So I'm looking for a chambray. So I think I found one on fabric.com that I think I'm going to give a try and order from them. But anyone else besides fabric.com or Joann's, any other suggestions on where to buy fabric, even if it is just online? Because I really would like to give this a try. I haven't sewn in a while. I've mentioned in other podcasts, I used to quilt before I had kids, and I loved quilting and I love sewing. The only problem is when we had kids, we ended up buying a house and there's no designated space for me to do my crafts. So unfortunately, the sewing machine has to get lugged onto the dining room table, and then I sew, and then it has to get lugged and put away. So when we moved into this house, that's when I started to pick up knitting. It's much more travel friendly. I can sit on the couch. You just need a pair of knitting needles. It's less bulky hobby. But I'd like to start sewing some clothes for myself, and I think Woolenvine, Kristen of Woolenvine, and somebody else mentioned this pattern as well, but the Ogaden camisole pattern I'd like to give a try as well. I love satin type camisoles, which are very hard to come by, and when I can find them, they seem to be very expensive. J. Crew has a beautiful camisoles, but they're extremely expensive, and I just can't seem to spend. I can spend $30 on a skein of yarn for socks, but for some reason can't bring myself to buying a camisole at J. Crew. But anyways, so that is it. So that's it for all the knitting content. So as far as just kind of chatter, it's been kind of an eventful few weeks, and we've done quite a bit. So like I had mentioned earlier, on Saturday we did go to the movies and we saw Black Panther, which was phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. And then the Friday before, we had a group of friends over with their kids, and we had a very nice, you know, just relaxing, have a few drinks, ordered some pizza, and just really enjoyed each other's company. And then I'm trying to think of what else we did. The weekend before, my younger son got sucked into The Lord of the Rings. It's a movie you either love or hate, and I am sorry for all of you guys that love it out there, but I just cannot abide by them. I find them long and tedious, and it's funny because I love fantasy movies. I just don't know what it is about these movies. They seem to drag. So, however, though, last week we ended up binge watching them. So yeah, so that was last weekend. And then my boys didn't have a February vacation. Our town only does President's Day off and then the day after, and then they go to school the other 3 days, which, to be honest with you, it's fine by me in February. Unlike this past few weeks, February is typically really cold and you don't want to go anywhere anyways. Plus you're coming off of Christmas vacation, and then April rolls around pretty quickly and there's days off there as well. So just having those 2 days off seems to be enough. Although I did feel bad last Wednesday, it was 75 and sunny and beautiful out. And it's funny because only in New England could it be 75 and sunny out and the next day it snowed. You know, I guess we managed to squeeze in between. There were some 40 and 50 degree weather. There was the 75 and sunny, and then there was the snow on Thursday. We managed to squeeze in all of the seasons in just 1 week here in Massachusetts. So we didn't do anything. They had the 2 days off and my husband was home with them. I had to work, so that was basically their vacation. My husband took them and did a couple things with them those 2 days. So that was basically it for what has been done. And this week it's gonna be crazy. So tonight I have a school safety meeting that I want to attend. The superintendent and the police in town are getting all the parents together to kind of talk about school safety and all of their programs and what they're planning on doing. God forbid an emergency happens. So I'm going to be attending that tonight. And then tomorrow's crazy. My younger son who's in the Cub Scouts, the Pinewood Derby is going to be next Sunday. So he has his weigh-in for the Pinewood Derby tomorrow. So I'll be taking him there, and then unfortunately I have a dentist appointment. I love my dentist. My dentist is a good friend, but I don't know anyone who likes going to the dentist, but I have a dentist appointment after the weigh-in tomorrow, so it is going to be a busy week ahead. But enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to the Pinewood Derby. That's always a lot of fun. So that is it for me this week. So I hope you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks ahead. Bye.